And welcome back everyone to the third match of the evening here, the first round of the Canary Wharf Classic. So far we've had Miguel Angel Rodriguez, the number 8 seed, beating Adrian Grant, 3 games to do. And then the upset, the number 4 seed, Kareem Darwish, being knocked out by Hong Kong's Max Lee, 3 games to love. Next on court, Nick Matthew against Alan Clyne. And last but not least, Omar Mossad versus Kareem Abdul Gawad, an all-Egyptian affair. So joining me in the commentary booth once again, Kate Mason, the winner of the Voice for Squash competition. Good evening, Kate.
Hello.
How did you enjoy your first experience behind the mic?
It was pretty extraordinary game, I think, actually, quite a lot of it. So it was really an enjoyable experience, and of course Joey made me very at home, as I'm told will you. So I'm thoroughly enjoying myself.
Excellent. Well, I think we're going to have another good match here. There's the wild card, Alan Clyne, Scottish descent, number 38 in the world. He's won 5 PSA world titles. Recently got to the semi-finals of the Oregon Open, where he lost to a Magwid, an Egyptian player, 3 games to 1 in the semis. So, and he's up against a man that needs no introduction, of course, current world champion Nick Matthew, world number 1. He's 33 years old, but you wouldn't guess it by his physique, by the way he goes about the game, his hunger and thirst for the game. Really is an incredible athlete, Nick Matthew, and he'll be looking to really control this match. He'll be looking to put in another good performance here in Canary Wharf, and it's amazing, isn't it, how Nick Matthew just keeps on going. You wouldn't think that he's been a pro for as long as he has achieved as much as he has.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. And especially, I was talking to him, because I write for the Metro about squash, and we were talking, last year, when he was just getting married and things like that, and you wondered whether that might cause a change in focus. You might start caring less about the squash, perhaps, but he was absolutely as hungry and as focused on the game as I've ever heard.
Well, he certainly is, and there you see his entourage there. You see his mum Sue and his coach Neil Guyry next to her. And there you see the England physio Jade Elias also in the crowd in the red England t-shirt. So and Ken's on the court cleaning the ball, making sure it's absolutely spick and span, ready for the off in this third match of the evening.
Joey was very worried that Ken hadn't been getting rid of the sweat enough in the last game.
What's interesting is making sure that he's mopping it and getting every little ounce of sweat off the court. Very diligent, Ken, does a very good job. And there we see no one's left yet. Capacity crowd, always a great atmosphere here. So close into the court, it really does make for a cauldron effect here.
Absolutely right. No, I absolutely love Canary Wharf as a tournament. It was the first professional tournament I ever came to watch. I'd never been to anything like it in the world of squash. A few years ago, James Willstrop won, but I mean that could be one of many years. And it was just so far removed from anything. To me, squash was playing in slightly dark courts in perhaps slightly grubby squash clubs, but this is quite something else.
Well, I always think there's such an aura around a glass court, wherever it's set up. I think it's such a spectacular thing when you see it in Grand Central Station or shopping malls around the world and different venues. And this East Winter Garden complex is certainly one of those sort of highlights. And I just think it's awe-inspiring when you walk in and the atmosphere that you get from just, even when it's just an empty court sitting there. I just think it's got this feel about it.
You're absolutely right, and of course it's sold out 2 months in advance. I mean,
first round match, Nick Matthew,
you can see why.
England to serve, Alan Clyne, Scotland to receive. Best of 5 games, love all.
So it's going to be Nick Matthew, the world number 1 in red, starting off this first round match. What about Alan Clyne? Have you seen much of Alan Clyne?
I have only seen a little bit of him because, well, he's a doubles. I thought of him as a doubles player because he's the doubles partner of one of my friends from university, Harry Leach, and they're representing Scotland. So I'd seen a bit of that, but it's quite a different game. I don't know how that translates necessarily onto the singles game.
Of course, the doubles game, which they're obviously getting ready for the Commonwealth Games, which is coming up this summer in July, of course, up in Scotland. And of course, when they're playing doubles, the court's a lot bigger or slightly wider, and also they're playing on a 13-inch tin, so it's an incredibly low tin, and they brought that change in to sort of make it even more attacking, or to encourage that attacking play. Because once you get two professional players on the court, they can cover so much distance. It's very hard to win points, even on a bigger court.
Yeah, understood. Glasgow's, I'm so excited for Glasgow. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And for squash, of course, I know we talk a lot about this, but not having the Olympics, it's going to be a pretty big deal for these guys.
Well, it is, and it's always such a popular sport amongst the Commonwealth Games. It always is a success story, isn't it, squash? You always get a lot of plaudits for our game, so I'm sure it'll be exactly the same this summer.
It's as close to a home games, of course. Sadly, everyone missed out on London 2012, but it's not so far away, Glasgow.
Well, I think it's going to be a tough ask here for Alan Clyne, but it really is important that the Scottish player gets the ball deep into the back corners. We've already seen in the previous two matches that it's very rewarding if you get the ball into the back corners, and it can leave an opponent slightly isolated and make that court big. And from that position, you have to really positively take the ball into the front corners. And again, we see the ball that does come off quite fast, find the back corners, but also stays very short when you attack it in. So I think it's going to be important that Alan Clyne gets the ball past the reach, the extension and the volleys of Nick Matthew.
And of course, Nick Matthew is always looking, because he's got this incredible fitness, he's always looking to push far up the court, take the volleys early, you know, really take control. And I think, well, we saw in the last match that actually Max Lee took advantage of moving the ball towards the front of the court and not letting himself be drawn into long rallies to the back corners. So perhaps in this game, Alan Clyne has to do the reverse.
Yeah, I think slightly different, isn't it? Nick Matthew against Karim Darwish. Karim Darwish coming off an injury and not moving incredibly well. So, you know, it was a good tactic from Max Lee, wasn't it, to push it into the front corners. But against a predator like Nick Matthew, and as you said, he's going to be up and he's going to be dominating across the middle. You just have to make sure you get the ball past him. You've got to move him off that area and then look to attack from there. So I'm sure Alan Clyne will know that.
We'll give him a shout.
It's one thing knowing it, but another thing doing it, isn't it?
And the court seems to be quite cold as well, so you should be able to perhaps keep it as tight as possible to the side walls. Of course, though, Nick Matthew is the world #1, so you know we don't want to be making too many claims for Alan Clyne at this stage. He's down at what, 38? So this is a wild. I don't actually know much about how the wildcard system works. Is it do you apply, or how?
You do apply. You apply through the tournament organisers, and then they decide who they're going to nominate as the wild card.
So you have to be very nice to Tim Garner, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll have to ask, won't we, what the criteria is to receive the wild card spot. Well, he's got a bit of support here, Alan Clyne.
3.
That is his trademark shot in the front left-hand corner. He loves to get in and play sort of that jabby backhand drop shot. Slightly unique technique going into that front left, but really is something he does look to exploit as often as he can.
And out for 2.
Oh, I was going to say that was a bit of a shame. I thought it was an error, but that was an incredible rolling.
So have you been putting much into the Metro about this particular tournament coming up?
Yeah, we did a piece came out on Wednesday with James Willstrop, because he's going for it'll be his 5th if he wins this year. So we managed to get a full page, which, no disrespect to squash, of which I'm a massive fan and love to push the game. But yeah, it was quite a hard work, quite an achievement to get it in so much. So, but I think the coverage of the game is growing, and it's just absolutely great to see. And when you see how early this tournament sold out, you know, how enthusiastic people are, there's a real fan base, I think, of squash that's growing.
I think so, and you've got some real characters, haven't you, in the top 10 of the world. Makes it very exciting. You've got a lot of different characters, different personalities, and then, of course, with those varying personalities, you get different styles of play. And when you get sort of a charismatic player like Rami Ashur that graces it, that's probably one of the most talented racket players across all the codes. I mean, it really does, you know, it's very good for squash, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I think, well, because he's been injured a lot recently, and that was a serious downer, I think. On, you know, no one wants to be. When Nick Matthew won up in Manchester, he was saying, you know, I feel like I'm not really the world #1, or at that stage he wasn't. But you take my point, you know, because Rami Ashur was injured. So it's important that he's there fighting.
Well, yeah, all these players, they want to beat a fit Rami Ashur. They want to beat all the top players in the world, because they're challenging themselves, aren't they? They're testing their skills. They're testing where they are. And of course, they don't want the easy route. They want to do it against the best players.
Absolutely right. And that's what Alan Clyne is doubtless thinking right now.
Exactly.
4-5.
So it's been a good start, really, from Alan Clyne. He's still in this first game. 4-5 down.
Looking fairly composed on court as well. It doesn't feel as though Nick Matthew is making him struggle. He's not struggling yet at this stage.
No, he's not, but seen it so often with Nick Matthew, where he makes that first game long, sort of draws it out, finds his feet on the court, becomes comfortable, and then looks to attack.
He's sort of feeling him out and trying to find his weaknesses.
Well, and also he's looking to get comfortable on the court.
Right.
Get used to the conditions, those sort of things. I think one thing he'll know is that Alan Clyne is incredibly fit. He's a superb athlete, trains incredibly hard.
Looks like a drill, this, kind of backwards and forwards across the court. Nick, as you say, feeling out Alan Clyne. It does not look like Nick's under any pressure at all.
So he's looking very comfortable, and you see that he's dictating the central area of the court and maybe taking one step out, and then he's right back in his preferred area immediately, and that's where Alan Clyne's got to shift him away from, and he did quite well there, and you saw immediately he was rewarded with a volley. Do you have a favourite player on the tour that you like to watch?
Well, it seems like a bit of a cliche to say Rami Ashur, doesn't it? So I will still say Rami Ashur. There's something about the way he dances about the court that's just so beautiful to watch. And the stuff that he comes out with, the kind of, you'd never know, with someone like Nick, who's obviously a great player, and really, you know, some of these length rallies, the way he cuts the ball in the front court, that's absolutely incredible to watch. But there's something of the magician about Rami Ashur, which often commented on, of course.
Well, he's a genius, isn't he, Rami Ashur? He's done it all in his own way as well, that's the other thing.
Well, that's why the injuries were a bit scary, because it did seem as though maybe his own way needed a bit more care and attention, but hopefully he'll go on.
Well, there we see a clean outright winner into the back of the court from Alan Clyne, moving Nick Matthew out of position. And then we saw him releasing through the line, perfect weight of shot.
That's a great get from Alan Clyne. And what a reward, 6-all. 6-all in the first.
What's that whole process, isn't it, of just making your opponent hit one more shot. Of course,
tenacious Scot, this guy.
He certainly is. He's determined, that's for sure.
Creeping out from behind Nick Matthews' legs there.
Hand out 7-6.
We've seen that a few times as well so far this evening. The ball staying very short when attacked in aggressively into the front of the court. Not even making the short line.
That's partly to do with the court being quite cold, I think.
Well, it is. I think it's the fact that the court's rewarding that short shot because it is slightly cool on there. But also, I mean, you see the way that the strings are working across the ball. They're really cutting down on the ball, and that cut with the power makes it stop short. But it's definitely the court as well.
8-6.
So, 2-point lead for Nick Matthew here in this first game. 8-6 up.
It doesn't seem like much, but in his hands, I fear it might be.
Up. 9-6.
I think the crowd want more upsets, don't you, Luke?
Well, they really got behind Max Lee, didn't they? Towards the end of that match versus Kareem Darwish.
And also it was like, in this case as well, Alan Clyne only 5'8", and same Max Lee, a little guy, fighting against the powerful, higher ranked player. We want more.
Well, we see the speed from Alan Clyne, but he was wrong-footed and out of position, and there's no coming back from that against Nick Matthew.
10-6.
Incredible recovery, but couldn't get the next one, and that means Nick Matthew now has 4 game balls.
That was a fantastic rally. That was by far the best rally we've seen so far, and I think that's a case of Nick Matthew perhaps turning the screws, turning the heat up a bit and showing what he can do.
Well, then he's turned the screw there in the first game, as you pointed out. And it's Nick Matthew who'll be very happy after that first game. So 13 minutes, Nick Matthew taking the first, 11-6.
So in that first game, it was almost business as usual, I think, for Nick Matthew. Started out quite tight, both of the players working each other out. Nick Matthew never looking challenged, really. Got to 6-all, and that was when he started to pull away. Both players working on moving the ball around in the mid-court. Not so many long rallies as you would perhaps be anticipating. We think it might be partly to do with the cold court, but also the degree of cuts that was being put on a lot of the short shots. But anyway, it's finished as we perhaps expected, with Nick Matthew on taking the first game.
Well, that was a trademark Nick Matthew performance in that game. He started out quite long and attritional, and then as we thought Alan Clyne was looking quite comfortable on the court, it was actually Nick Matthew that pulled away and really looked to attack and turned the screw, as you pointed out. So it's going to be interesting now to see whether Alan Clyne could come back. But what was interesting to me was Nick Matthew actually stayed on court after the end of that first game, was practicing his drop shot. So doesn't look completely comfortable out there, Kate.
It's interesting what you were saying as well about working his way into the game. So lots of long rallies, kind of feeling his opponent out. And I think that's exactly what he was doing just there. And perhaps that's another demonstration of it as well, staying on at the end, trying to work out exactly what shots he should be playing and put them into practice.
Well, he's very obsessive about his squash and he looks after every little detail. He's got ridiculous purpose.
Yeah, he's quite an obsessive man, isn't he, Nick Matthew?
Well, he just looks to maximise everything, doesn't he? He looks to get everything out of everything he does.
Yeah, have you read his book?
I haven't read it, actually.
Oh, sorry, that was a bit of a bad setup. I should probably have asked you that before.
No, I do have it, but I need to get round to reading it.
So you've got it, but you haven't.
Yes.
You don't want to read it yet. Well, I have read it.
You're not going to ruin it for me, are you?
There's not really a punchline. The punchline is he's pretty good at squash. So it talks a lot about that obsessive quality, which I think pays dividends. Turns out, especially in a sport like squash.
Well, it's Nick Matthew leading 1-0 here. I'm glad you didn't ruin it for me anyway, that I haven't found out what happens.
He gets married and he's quite good at squash. That is it. But it's a good book nonetheless. I'm not trying to put it down. We've got quite a lot of writers on the squash tour as well, because James Wilstrott's book's rather good. Out in all good bookstores. It's called
Shot on a Ghost.
Shot on a Ghost. Thank you, Lee.
You were just testing me again, were you?
I was testing you, and producers asking, have you read that one?
I have read that one.
Yes.
It was before PSA kept giving me new jobs. So between my England job and my PSA job, I don't seem to have much time to read books.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure I could look after one of them for you. Now this is where your job might be important. Because you're trying to improve the relationship between referees and players, is that right?
Yeah, trying to get players on the same page as the referees and vice versa, and just get those lines of communication open and get some of the grey areas out of the game. The areas that where there's maybe minimal interference and lets are given, or whether it's a no let or a let, or clearing the ball or standing on the ball. Basically, those kinds of things, trying to minimise those grey areas that are probably problematic at the moment, and actually, getting the game flowing basically as much as possible. It's
pretty important in a game like this, yeah. But the thing is, where does it end? Because obviously, at times you do need to try and clear. You might be doing all you can to clear the ball. It's such grey area, as you say.
Well, I think also that's where the information comes into it, whether the understanding of what's going on, the lines that players are taking in and out of the ball, because it's not always the incoming player, sometimes it's the player clearing that needs to step to one side, allow the other player through. But it's interesting. I'm certainly up for the challenge. So,
well,
what's interesting as we look at this second game, Alan Clyne stepped up the court and he's looking to play at more of a rapid pace. But of course, one thing we know is that Nick Matthew is a prolific volleyer and he actually loves to play at a quick pace.
Could that be a sign? Is that a sign of desperation? Because sometimes it can be that you're kind of running out of ideas, and you're trying to put the pressure on. How do you put the pressure on? Make the play faster. But of course, that could, as you say, backfire.
I think it's definitely a sign of trying something different. But also, Alan Clyne loves to play at a quick pace. He likes to go at that solid pace. He wants the game moving rapidly. And that's how he looks to hurt people when he's playing them. But the problem is when you're up against Nick Matthew, who's one of the best in the world at it. I think probably what Alan Clyne was doing in the first game was serving him better.
See the pressure there. He's in the back corner trying to dig it out. It's just Nick Matthews just too strong on that shot.
Well, I think we talk so often about Nick Matthews' super strength being across the middle and the fact that he volleys, but also one of the other things he does, he gets an incredible amount of outright winners into the back of the court. And what that shows is that obviously he's moving his opponent deep into the front corners, but also he's such a clean hitter through the line that he's able to get the ball fading and dying second bounce into the nick, and it gives the opponent nothing. And it's such a good thing to be able to do, to hit those lines into the back of the court.
Scott's putting such weight on his shots here as well. They're both scampering about like Tom and Jerry. That's unlucky.
Stroke to Matthew.
I think it's a stroke reasonably given there.
And out 5.
Yeah, I think so. I think Alan Clyne's just irritated. He couldn't quite get the ball away from him.
Yeah, it's a shame because that was a good bit of improvisation, and he was taking it to Nick Matthew, but he was unlucky. Shot. Ah.
Got himself into a bit of a tangle there, didn't he?
6-1.
He did get himself into a tangle.
It's just that moment of doubt where he was going to volley and then decided not to, and in that moment it was too late. So Nick Matthew now leads 6-1. Pretty quick fire. It's only been 5 minutes in this second game.
He's got to find a way to halt Nick Matthews' momentum. Got
Well,
any ideas?
Well, there you go. Just slot the ball into the nick. Incredibly tight to the front.
And out
That's the answer then.
6.
Inches.
Yep. Leave it incredibly short. Very tight. All the time.
3, 6.
And now he's moving. The pace there was quick. He was quick to serve, and I think that wrong-footed Nick Matthew stuck it in the tin.
Well, it's a great trickle boast at the front of the court from Nick Matthew. See, just opened his shoulders in the shot, and then Alan Clyne going for the drive in the back. He's ghosting in the back of the court.
That's that long drive that you're talking about, the straight drive that's hard, hit so hard and cleanly and precisely. Doesn't stand a chance on that.
That's a great shot. And you saw Alan Clyne covering quite far forwards, looking to make sure that he didn't get picked off with the drop shot. And of course that then left the space in behind him. So 8-3 for Nick Matthew. Yeah, I think the referee was right. The ball just sort of skidded along the out of court line.
It's pretty difficult to tell sometimes on these glass courts, but it did look out. Maybe it's more of a hopeful challenge than a real one.
You sure?
It looked fine from where I am.
Yes, that 9-3.
Fantastic little rally, drop rally there at the front court. It's actually amazing to see them still moving up the court and taking control of the space again, each of them moving out of position and then coming back into the tee. I think this is the best passage of play we've seen so far. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a great rally between these two. Really are looking to expose each other's movement, looking to outmaneuver the opponent.
Keeping it short there again. Alan Clyne perhaps being forced to move it to the back where he'd rather not be. Great lob from Nick Matthew.
Well, there we see a trickle boast from Alan Clyne himself. He just got outfoxed by Nick Matthew on the other side, and then coming in with a response of his own on the front left.
That was fantastic. And the crowd love that as well because they want to see a fight. They don't want to see any 3-0s.
It was well set up from Alan Clyne because he'd been going in with the backhand drop straight, And of course, once he felt that Nick Matthew was coming across to the left-hand side looking to cover it, that's when he attacked with the trickle boast.
It's that chess.
And out.
It's that playing chess on the court thing again.
Game ball.
So
Famous
that's-
Jonah Barrington quote,
Yep,
I'm told.
by Joey.
Of course.
So it's
No, I've read his book as well, actually.
six game balls for Nick Matthew. I don't think Joey's got any books, has he?
No, Jonah Barrington's book,
Right.
of course.
Now,
Rare unforced error there from Nick Matthew.
and out. 5-10.
I suppose he's got quite a few game balls to play with.
Yeah, we won't see too many of those errors though, regardless of the game balls or the situation.
Good play from Alan Clyne, though. He squeezed him.
Now,
Ah,
Well, just as I said, we wouldn't see many errors. There was another one.
he's trying to prove you wrong.
ball.
So 4 game balls still to save for Alan Clyne.
Taking a rest there at the back of the court, Alan Clyne. Oh, what a shot! What a shot! Beautiful into the back of the court.
7-10.
We're just acknowledging to Nick Matthew that maybe it was slightly fortuitous. Players generally, when they hit that width, I mean, he's hit a great shot, but they normally apologise for the nick.
Slightly disingenuous, I reckon. I think he needs all the ones he can get.
Now,
Well, and he went for his
What a
trademark
shame.
drop, but off balance, and it's Nick Matthew that closes out the second game. So after 27 minutes of play, it's Nick Matthew that takes the second game 11-7, and he now leads. 2 games to love.
.11 minutes that game, but it certainly felt longer. There was a lot more creativity from Alan Clyne during that game. At 8-3 down, there was a Nick Matthew backhand drive that I think perhaps set the tone for the game. Every time that Alan tried something new, Nick Matthew powered him off the court. And then towards the end, though, 10-4 down, managed to save 2 game balls. 2 unforced errors from Nick Matthew, which, as we said, is not something you're going to see often. But then finally, unforced error from Alan Clyne, 11-7 Nick Matthew.
Well, there's a good fight back from Alan Clyne there. He never wants to give up, and he was working very hard to stay in that match. But in the end, it was just too big a lead, wasn't it, for Nick Matthew?
I think that's true. I think he left it a bit late. If it was a strategy, I think he left it a bit late to come back from behind. The Adrian Grant method, I think it's called. But yeah, there was some good creative play, but it just felt as though every time he opened up an opportunity for himself, Nick Matthew just played another one down the line as hard as he could, and game over.
Well, he slammed the door firmly shut, didn't he, on numerous occasions there in that second game. And we can see Nick Matthew just being spoken to by Neil Guyry in his corner, down the bottom left-hand side of the screen. See,
I'm trying to pick him out. Where's he gone?
just down there, bottom left in the
right.
red t-shirt.
15 seconds.
What wisdom would you impart to Nick Matthew? Same again?
Yeah, I think so. I think Neil Guyry will be talking to him very much about keeping those basics right, making sure that he's hitting the lines into the back of the court, controlling across the middle, and then being very clinical in the front corner. And Nick Matthew will be saying that, you know, he'll be looking to make sure he's as clinical as possible, and he won't want to give those cheap errors away that he gave at the end, because he wants it spot on. And there we see his coach, Neil Guyry. Of course, one of his coaches, David Pearson, the other coach.
He's got an enormous entourage, hasn't he, Nick Matthew?
Well, to be honest, I think when you're world number one, or you've achieved everything that he's achieved, I think you do have to have a team, don't you? And I think it's very important that you build a team around you that makes you feel comfortable and looks after all your needs.
I think that's a fair point, in contrast, of course, to Rami. And I remember when we were up at the Manchester Worlds, people were talking about how Greg Gauthier had brought an enormous entourage, and that was unusual for him. So sometimes it shows that you're serious, like Nick Matthew, and you've got all your people mapped out and you're in control. Sometimes it could be that you're putting a bit too much pressure on yourself.
And out, 1.
Yeah, it just depends on the personality of the player. Yeah. And I think that's any aspiring player coming through, it's very important that they discover themselves and they find out what works for them. Because what works for Nick Matthew may not work for the next junior coming through.
So Clyne going to love up in this third game. Is this the start of a resurgence?
Well, he'll definitely be hoping so. And all his fans back in Scotland will also be watching this with bated breath. Actually trying out a new system here this week, and this is the first match that we've used. It's a tri-ref system, and the referees have got an iPad each. Other tablets are available, of course. But basically it's making it more of a computerized system that actually in the end will give us all the statistics as well of what the referees are coming up with during the games.
That's really interesting.
But
so this is an initiative by you, is it?
I wish, no, it was already in the pipeline pre-me.
Take it though, you're in charge now.
Well, it depends how it goes.
1, 2.
But so basically it's like a score sheet, but it does everything for you. So you press the points in when they come through. If there's a video review, it tells you whether there's still one, which would have helped in the Adrian Grant match. And basically, when a decision comes in, you press the button, it says decision, and then the other referees make their mind up on the decision that they think and how they saw it. And then immediately that 2 decisions have been given, it comes up with what the decision is for you.
So much more trackable, basically, as well.
Yeah, so the central referee has control of everything basically. So he'll be looking at the screen, he'll see the scores and what have you, and when decisions are made, he will see which referees made the certain decisions and what's come through for him. Well, it's very exciting. It looks simplistic, but gives so much information. It's very impressive.
Nick Matthew quick to take those 2 points back here.
Well,
that was a lucky one, I think it's fair to say. He'll take it. He's smiling.
Yeah, he's smirking as he's walking around the back of the court. Thought he might have been claiming that he's been working on that in training, but obviously not.
You can see where the momentum is here, because Nick Matthew is really standing on the tee and working Alan Clyne around the court. He's always picking up, he's always playing off the back foot and picking up the ball rather than making the decisions and leading the game. Now, as if to prove me wrong, then he sent Nick Matthew to the front of the court.
It was still a counter punch though, wasn't it? I think it was Nick Matthew that worked the ball in, and then Alan Clyne got in and counter punched. So I think what you're pointing out is spot on.
And that forces the error.
4-2.
I mean, when we're talking about this sort of standard, the best players in the world, and we're talking about someone that's 38 in the world and rising, and of course we're talking about Nick Matthews, #1 in the world, and we're talking such fine margins, the difference between the 2 players and how they're going about it, and the targets they're hitting. But you just see every time Nick Matthews strikes the ball, there's such a purpose on it, and the target is really refined. You see again just dying out in the back of the court, and it's just a major thing, isn't it? You see lots of players, and maybe a few of Alan Clyne's have been sort of cannoning off the back court, and it's just those levels of accuracy that make the difference.
It's the floorboards, isn't it? It's those training drills to the tiniest part of a floorboard at the back corner.
6.
Well, as we talk about accuracy, another pinpoint drop shot from Nick Matthew, giving Alan Clyne very little to work with. And it's now Matthew leading 6-2 in this third game.
Down. 7-2. Right side, please.
You can see then again that Nick Matthews. Oh, I'm caught mid-flow.
No left. Hand out.
Yep, I think it's the right decision, but the ball had gone past, and you saw another smile from Nick Matthew.
What, you think he's trying it on a bit?
The ball was well gone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a clever shot from Nick Matthew, sensing that Alan Clyne had gone the wrong way.
That's a taxi, I've learnt. That's his shot, isn't it, Alan Clyne? The front backhand dying early.
Yeah, that backhand drop there.
Lovely.
Right on cue from Alan Clyne.
He's working for us.
There we see his trademark backhand drop, this time on the volley. So 4-8, Alan Clyne trailing.
What a shot, what a shot. Is it its fullest extent there? Volley Nick, beautiful. Done, does them all day. What's the problem?
Yeah, we'll just keep doing that, Alan Clyne.
Again, now back in the back corner, which is not where he wants to be.
It's good though, he's actually using the front corners to move Nick Matthew forwards and then looking for the ones behind. So, interesting change of tactics from Alan Clyne.
Oof.
Well, that could have been painful from Alan Clyne.
I'll leave you to describe that shot, Lee.
9-5.
I wouldn't want to. Oh.
Well, it's a shot that's used so often now down the middle of the court, and Alan Clyne just not able to adjust in time.
That's Mohamed El Shabaghi shot if he'd pulled it off, I think.
Well, it's a vicious angle from Nick Matthew. Ripped the ball around the court and then pounced on the follow-up. Another outright winner into the back of the court, and it gives Nick Matthew 5 match points.
Not quite good enough, that lob from Alan Clyne. And he's made to pay.
It's another drive to the back of the court that clinches the match for Nick Matthew.
Matthew won by 3 games to love. 11-6, 11-7, 11-5.
So we're going to go to our MC, Alan Thatcher.
Yeah, congratulations. Through to the quarterfinals. Alan is a real fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, he seemed to have his best patches at the end of each game, which sort of he seemed to get stronger as the game went on. So good job we don't play to 15 anymore, because he's going to be really coming into his own there. And it's lucky that I got a good start in most of the games. So you can hear how I'm breathing now. He plays at a fast pace. He's very tenacious, and I wish him all the best. He's really improving all the time.
And obviously later in the year we've got the Commonwealth Games, a massive event for squash. Unfortunately, as everybody knows, we didn't get in the Olympics last year, so the Commonwealth Games has a massive significance for our sport.
We're not in the Olympics, we're not?
Afraid not,
no?
Sorry.
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of publicity about that, and you know, I think everyone in the world of squash took a lot of credit for that bid, even though it was ultimately unsuccessful. I don't think anybody did anything wrong in the world of squash. Everyone really came together, and you know, that includes everyone here who plays it socially, or you know, they really got behind it. And Commonwealth is our chance to, you know, let's reserve 2 seats on the front row for those IOC presidents and show them what they're missing.
Absolutely. I think that deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Nick, your fellow world champion, Laura Massaro, is flying back today from Malaysia. Again, another massive event for England squash.
Oh, I mean, if everyone just wants to take a second and give Laura a massive round of applause, that's like, it was like amazing, amazing achievement, and we wish her all the best.
So if all goes well, we can invite her down at the end of the week. I'm sure I know she's got lots of media work lined up for the next few days, and I hope she's going to catch up on some sleep. But it'd be lovely to see the two of you together at the end of the week.
I'm sure, yeah, it'd be brilliant to get her down. I'm sure she's a little bit squashed out. You can, you know, have that high, and then you can come back down to earth. Like a economy class flight could do that to you. Hopefully she's been upgraded on the way back with the trophy. But no, I mean, it was an amazing achievement. Obviously, she saved match balls in the quarter-final, semi-final, great win against Raneem, and then in the final was sort of expecting if she got there to play Nicole and build up to that, and then all of a sudden she was the favourite. So, you know, to win it like she did, you know, Laura, I see close at hand how hard she works, share the same coach, so enormous respect, and hopefully she can inspire myself this week as well.
Well, I can't let you go without asking you a quick favour. We have a competition winner in the front row, as well as winning 2 tickets courtesy of the Wharf newspaper. He has won a copy of your book. So if you'd be kind enough to sign it on the way out, Nick, thank you very much. Enjoy your rest day tomorrow, and we'll see you in the quarters on Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Matthew, and a big hand, please, for Alan Clyne.
So 3-love to Nick Matthew, the #1 seed. He took that match 11-6, 11-7, 11-5 in 38 minutes of squash.
And that last game was a game of backhands from both players. The traditional and excellent Nick Matthew backhand drive meant that he was taking points, clearing up points all over the shop. Although Alan Clyne fought back with some of his own backhand volley drops, some beautiful points taken early on in the final game. But in the end, Nick Matthew really ran away with it, got to 10-5 and managed to snatch the points with some, again, beautiful backhands. As I say, the story of the game. 11-5 Nick Matthew. Thanks very much.